Hello everyone. 14 minutes to go, and I have perhaps the hardest task this morning, to speak right before the lunch. Stay with me, 14 more minutes, and I promise you, meanwhile, a good food for thought. Actually, following Think Globally, Act Locally, I decided to do something that I haven't done so far in front of such an audience. I decided to review for you the top secrets, the key things which make SAP Labs Bulgaria successful. And this is what we're going to do today and speak about. Before jumping there, actually, I want to say a few words about SAP. It's a, I would say, startup in its early 40s. And throughout all this time, we've been the innovator for the best running businesses, and we helped actually a lot to become best run businesses. Putting it very short, we're number one, and we've always been number one in business applications. Mobile, enterprise mobile, about cloud and in-memory technologies and analytics. This is being developed, actually all these things are being developed in around 10 to 15 labs around the world, and SAP Labs Bulgaria is one of them. It started 14 years ago, and currently we have more than 500 people, software engineers, developing and innovating here in Sofia, and we have plans to hire 100 more throughout the course of the current year. There is no better way to explain what SAP is than tell you what our customers do with the software we produce. We have more than 230,000 customers who rely on our solutions in order to, for example, produce more than 32,000 car engines per day, and let's say 75% of the annual beer production. I'm saying that because actually it's our great responsibility to run these businesses successful and to guide them throughout this digital revolution that is happening. A digital revolution that we see that at the moment we have a middle class formed by 2 billion people, and by 2030 it's expected to become 5 billion. The data doubles every 18 months. There are more mobile devices than people on this earth. Even my little daughter, 1.5 years old, she always wants to have my mobile, so it's actually not that personal for me myself. And there are more than 15 billion web-enabled devices. And this, by devices, here I mean washing machines, I mean cars and everything. And then we have again on the slides this 1 billion people who are in part of one network. I want to tell you that because this is actually reflects the drivers of our thinking, drivers for our philosophy as we innovate. Because growing from 2 billion to 5 billion middle class people, this is great for us as human beings. But actually, this means much more resource consumption. And we have to rethink the way we run our businesses. We have to really rethink the way we behave as human beings. We have all together to actually rethink how do we build the future and to make this world much better than actually it is today. So this is the key driver for our thinking. Everything starts from here. The next thing, which is a kind of a key motivator for us, and we have really in our DNA, is that we build things simple and beautiful. What I mean is that actually having all these technologies empowers us a lot as human beings. With just one command, we could make or break a complete brand. But beyond that, beyond what we as individuals could do, even though being greatly empowered these days, there will be things that only enterprises will be able to do. Sophisticated things like building airplanes, fighting terminal diseases, fighting world hunger. And you know what? If you get the CEOs of the 1,000 companies which are considered as the most successful ones in this world, they all will tell you one thing. They all say that the real enemy for their business is the complexity. Leonardo da Vinci said that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, and in fact, this is what we really need to do, and this is what we are doing. Sophisticated things in order to make people and businesses run simpler, run faster, and a bit smarter. Now I jump to the technology side after covering the philosophical aspects. The technology side, I have to tell you one thing. Always cloud. All the solutions that we are building There are definitely cloud-based. Why? Because it's simple and more efficient. Because you could connect to these solutions from everywhere. You know, you could have 20 million washing machines connected to your solution. And there are much more benefits that I would happy to discuss with them during the lunch. The next technology element that you should bear in mind is the in-memory. We have in-memory solutions. We have the leading in-memory database, which when we apply it to some of our customers, actually they gain 10,000 times much faster analytics and work. If I have to apply what it means to us as human beings, if we gain all this speed, this would mean that we could walk from Sofia to Madrid, let's say in 5 minutes. Now imagine what this means for, you know, enterprises and for companies, or for us, if we really get that. And it's, you know, putting everything really in memory, it's affordable these days. This is just a statistic of, yeah, that in 2002, you know, we had this one core, and now we have the servers with, let's say, 64 CPUs, and having a server with hundreds of terabytes is nothing. Actually, a few months ago, SAP set the Guinness World Record for the biggest data warehouse, and this is 12.1 petabyte, and this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Now, having in mind that you always should consider cloud and put everything in memory, you should know what to do with the technology. You should know how actually to come up with this 100 million idea that to make you one of these best run businesses. What we do in order to help ourselves for that is to rely on design thinking. This is a methodology to some extent kind of contributed also by SAP, but mainly in Stanford University. And basically it is all about creating an empathy for your customers, for the customers of your customers, so that when you build something, you should know where exactly it's going to be used, for how long throughout the day, what feelings your customers or the customers of your customers will have. And only then you could actually come up with this idea that would be worth it. But having idea is one thing. Having innovation is completely different. Innovation actually equals great idea multiplied by execution. If the execution is slow, if the quality is bad, then basically you have zero innovation. That's why we strictly follow agile and lean methodologies, and we have zero tolerance for defects, limited work in progress, so what you do throughout the day, not many things, but do them right. And then we have this mindset of continuously improving things. If there is a problem, don't just step away. Fix it and then continue. And when you combine that with the great idea, only then you get to really to the results. Now, having the right mindset and thinking, having the right technologies, setting up the right processes, it would not mean anything unless we have the right people. And the right people, the way we set up our teams and the way we think about the people is we form these so-called feature teams from 5 to 10 people who are with persons who are T-shaped. T-shaped in a way that they have a deep and world-class expertise in certain domain, but they are broad enough to have various hobbies, various interests, so that they get the big picture and they actually could innovate. And actually I was running really fast, powered by all these technologies and things. But the last thing I want to say is that to you who are the next startups or at the moment, we are open to create this world and to improve this world, become better. Take a look at our startup program, get in contact with us, let's play vocally here together, and then let's really make this world a little bit better place. Thank you.
That's awesome.